Have you ever truly stopped to consider how we as humans assign meaning to things? Like, what counts as wealth or worth? It isn't fixed, you know? It's this dynamic concept that's shifted so dramatically throughout history, often without us even realizing the profound implications. Today, we're taking a deep dive into a really fascinating new white paper. It's titled "The Ages of Value: From Hunter to AI Entrepreneur," and it's by Philip Randolph Lillian from the Holonomics Institute. This paper offers this incredible, sweeping view of humanity's journey, tracing how we've accumulated and, well, created value from our earliest beginnings right up to this brand new era driven by artificial intelligence.
Yeah, and this isn't just like a history lesson for its own sake. Our mission here is to unpack not just what value was in each epoch, but more importantly, how it was fundamentally created and how societies were shaped by that. And crucially, what all this evolution means for how you might create value in the future. We'll dig into the paper's framework, this idea of holonomics, and uncover some, frankly, surprising ways value can be defined and transformed.
So we're going on a bit of a journey then, traveling through, what, over a dozen distinct ages, each with its own unique currency of value, before we land squarely in what the paper calls the AI entrepreneurship age. Okay, let's get into it.
Right. To really grasp this journey, we first kind of need to challenge our usual thinking about value. The paper really pushes us to look beyond just money. It defines value as being, fundamentally, about the fitness of form to function, the meaningfulness of work, and the impact on living systems.
Hmm.
At its core, it's about reducing randomness or entropy, you could say, into something directed, something usable.
And the paper pushes us to rethink work itself, too, doesn't it? It's not just physical labor, but everything from deep thought to creative leaps. That's a surprisingly broad definition for value creation. It introduces this holonomic definition, suggesting value is generated through work in this really expansive sense, mechanical stuff, creative actions, intellectual effort. It's a holistic view, right? Where value isn't just profit, but how actions contribute to the fitness and meaning within living systems.
Exactly. And to give it some, solid grounding, the paper pulls from Eric Beinhocker's book, The Origin of Wealth, a great read, by the way. Beinhocker offers three core criteria for something to actually count as value creation. First, he says value-creating processes are irreversible. They're thermodynamically nonlinear. You can't just easily unmake something complex, like a car, back into raw ore and materials without a huge amount of effort, right? The energy used is dissipated.
Okay, that makes sense. Irreversible. What's number two?
Second is entropy reduction. So value creation locally reduces chaos or disorder within a system, even if, big picture, total entropy in the universe increases. Think about taking, I don't know, a pile of lumber, some metal, fabric, all scattered, and turning it into a really well-crafted chair. That's local order created from disorder. You've imposed purpose.
Right. Imposing order, creating something useful out of scattered bits.
Got it.
And the third criteria.
And third, the output has to show fitness. It needs to be fit for human purpose. It can't just exist. It has to be useful or meaningful or beneficial to us somehow. So bringing it all together, value is about transforming energy, materials, information, even just effort into something ordered and useful that serves a human need or desire.
Okay, with that really interesting foundation laid, the paper takes us on this incredible historical tour, outlining, like you said, 13 distinct ages of value. We probably won't dive super deep into every single one, but we'll definitely hit the highlights to show you how radically this idea of value has shifted and, what insights each age offers, even for today.
Right. So let's start at the beginning, the Hunter Age. Here, value is pretty straightforward, pure survival. Conquest, getting food, shelter. Life was tough. Value was direct, immediate. And the insight here, it kind of reminds us that at our most basic, value is about immediate, tangible utility, which, interestingly, might pop up again with AI.
Yeah, but then humans started settling down, organizing a bit more, and the definition of value changed. That brings us into the warrior age. Once we moved beyond just hunting into early farming and herding, well, war became a kind of shortcut for getting resources. Yep. In these societies, which were getting more hierarchical, warriors generated huge value for kings through conquest. And their reward, sure, land, tangible stuff, but also intangibles like status, power within that social structure. So value started being about control and social rank, not just stuff.
And that focus on, let's say, brute force eventually yielded to a new kind of power skill, ingenuity, which leads us to the craftsman age. As cities started popping up and growing, artisans found this whole new way to create value through specialized skill, making things. And here's a really surprising bit the paper highlights. Entrepreneurship, like actual business creation, kind of emerged as a defense against feudal exploitation. It was a way for people to create their own worth, their own economic independence outside those rigid systems. A powerful lesson, actually.
From skill, our focus then expanded outwards, didn't it, into the wider world. The explorer age came next. Curiosity, connectivity, driven by, well, bold individuals. Value came from bringing back rare, desirable goods from far-off places, creating a new kind of wealth tied to trade and just the novelty of the exotic, which then flowed pretty naturally into the merchant age. Here, people started systematizing that trade. Their value was in taking risks, in arbitrage, buying low here, selling high there, and also, crucially, having exclusive access to those exotic goods. This really highlights that early human drive for novelty and connection as value drivers. It's kind of a precursor to today's global info economy, right? It makes you think, though. These early merchants, risking literally everything for spices or silk, their arbitrage involves storms and pirates, not algorithms.
Totally different scale of risk. So with these global networks starting to form, the stage was set for an even bigger shift. The era where machines started augmenting and then replacing human labor. So welcome to the mechanization age. Here, craft became invention. Machines started doing the work of hands, scaling up production incredibly fast. Value fundamentally shifted from the skilled individual to the machine that could churn things out. And then, the industrialization age. Electricity just turbocharged everything. Industrialists built huge centralized factories. This led to unprecedented material wealth, yes, but it also massively shifted society, centralizing power and production, the real dawn of mass production.
Okay, so after that industrial boom, the oil age emerged. Energy itself became the key bottleneck. And the people who controlled oil, the Rockefellers, the Gettys, they basically controlled modernity's pace. They were the gatekeepers of progress, of wealth, which then sort of flowed into the corporate age. Better logistics, infrastructure allowed these massive, often bureaucratic corporations to dominate. Value was coordinated through these huge hierarchies, managing complex global supply chains. It was the age of big systems, big scale.
And as we get closer to today, value started getting more abstract. We entered the financial age. Money itself, capital, became the main medium. Things like leveraged buyouts, hedge funds, complex financial engineering. These became the primary tools for extracting value, or maybe just redistributing it. It was a really fascinating, sometimes wild era, where wealth came not just from making stuff, but from cleverly moving capital around. Then came the information age, obviously. Digital infrastructure scaled globally. Data, bits, quickly replaced physical matter, atoms, as the core medium of value. The world shifted fast towards algorithmic decision-making. Insights from data became the new oil, the new gold.
And that leads us pretty much right up to our current moment. Just before this AI shift, we had the startup age. Here, tech and decentralization just blew the doors open, lowered the barriers to entry for new businesses dramatically. Suddenly, individuals, small teams, could build billion-dollar companies. The ideal shifted away from those slow giants towards agile, maybe purpose-driven ventures that could innovate super fast and disrupt whole industries. Kind of a return to individual power, but amplified globally by tech.
And all of these ages, each defined by its own unique form of value, have collectively brought us to this really unique threshold. We are standing now, according to this paper, at the dawn of the newest age, the AI entrepreneurship age.
Right. And this transition, this AI entrepreneurship age, it just feels profoundly different, doesn't it? More than just getting better tools. What makes this shift so, well, foundational?
That's a really key question. The paper paints this compelling picture of what AI-augmented entrepreneurs can actually do now. They can automate not just production lines, but the very generation of ideas. I mean, just think about that for a second. AI generating product concepts, marketing plans, maybe even code or legal drafts. They can connect directly with global markets, cutting out a lot of the old middlemen. They can build these modular, scalable micro empires with almost no overhead, running complex stuff from a laptop. And maybe the biggest thing, they can speed up that cycle from idea to execution beyond human limits, condensing months, years into days or hours potentially.
Wow, that is a profound shift. So value in this age becomes, like you said, intelligence-driven, modular, and synthetically scalable.
Yeah.
Entrepreneurs aren't just using machines anymore, they're actually partnering with cognitive agents. That's a totally different kind of collaboration, isn't it? The machine isn't just doing tasks, it's contributing strategically.
Precisely. And the really deep implication here, it's not just about creating more wealth faster. The paper argues it's about synthesizing intelligent systems of purpose. It fundamentally redefines both what value is and who gets to create it, which naturally leads to the question, okay, what does this mean for how value is actually made and perceived now, especially when intelligence itself can be, generated or partnered with.
So let's revisit that how value is created idea through this new AI lens. The paper reinforces the basics. Value is still work transforming energy or info into something fit for purpose, but the examples just explode, right? It's not just tangible goods like furniture or intangible ones like software design or even experiences like entertainment. Crucially, it now explicitly includes systems, things like institutions, social structures, and critically, AIs themselves. Value creation can now involve creating another value creating entity. Whoa.
And that's exactly why Beinhocker's model, the entropy reduction thing we talked about, while still the foundation, needs an upgrade for the AI age. It has to include recursive intelligence systems, systems that can learn, adapt, create value autonomously, and then potentially build other systems that do the same. So AIs aren't just tools anymore. They're potential value generators that build other value generators. You can imagine an AI designing products, another optimizing production, a third creating the marketing, maybe with minimal human oversight after setup. That's truly recursive.
Okay, so to help us think about the types of value in this new age, the paper brings in Peter Thiel's framework from 0 to 1. That's helpful. Thiel talks about, first, commodity value stuff that's easily copied, competes on price. Second, monopoly value, something unique, protected, allowing pricing power. And third, transformative value, things that solve unique human problems, often by creating entirely new categories or markets.
Right. And this is where AI entrepreneurs can really make their mark. They can move beyond just churning out commodities. The paper suggests they can restructure value chains, redefine problems, and invent new categories of meaning. They're not just optimizing the old ways, they're using AI to spot unmet needs, synthesize totally new solutions, and then scale them globally, potentially creating transformative or even monopoly value.
And finally, the paper touches on how this impacts the organizational value chain, Michael Porter's model. Inbound logistics, operations, outbound logistics, marketing and sales, customer service, the classic business functions. What's just mind-blowing here is that every single one of those functions can now be AI augmented, not just tweaked for efficiency, but potentially transformed into real-time adaptive systems. Imagine AI in logistics predicting supply shocks, AI in operations dynamically adjusting production, AI in marketing finding hyper-niche customer needs instantly. It completely changes the cost structure and the potential output.
So if we zoom back out and connect all these dots, the journey the paper maps out, from basic survival through kings and craftsmen, merchants, machines, finance, information, and now landing in this profound partnership with artificial intelligence. It shows that the human story of value creation has always been tied to our tools and how we make meaning. This AI shift isn't just a minor upgrade. It feels more like, I don't know, moving from walking to flying instantly. The scale of change is almost hard to wrap your head around.
Exactly. The paper really concludes by hammering this point home. We're entering a stage where intelligence itself becomes the tool and the canvas for value creation. This AI entrepreneurship age is framed as a revolution in both capacity and consciousness.
It really does offer humanity the chance, maybe the challenge, to generate wealth, yes, but also meaning and whole new systems of value that were literally impossible before. It's incredibly exciting, maybe a little daunting, but definitely transformative.
So, thinking about all this, what does it mean for you listening right now? Maybe consider this final provocative thought. If AI can increasingly automate idea generation, optimize complex systems, maybe even create other intelligent agents, what becomes uniquely valuable about us? How might your specific human purpose, your creativity, your empathy become the most crucial commodity in this new era? How might you partner with these emerging cognitive agents to define purpose and create value in ways we are only just starting to glimpse? Something to think about.